Good morning and good evening. I'll wait for a few people to connect. Yeah, I know. I always do this to you guys. It's like, yeah, Yildiz must be on her Christmas break. And it's like, hi, back again. Okay, I wanted to do an update live as to the energy. I've wanted to for a while, but I had been really unwell. I had to go to hospital. I had a bit of an iron issue and a fever. Oh, God. Now the cat's going to whinge at me. Yeah, I hear you. Goodbye. So, how many people do we have in the room? So yes, as I was saying, I'll wait for a few people to get on and then I will explain everything of what we're going to do in aspect of an update as to the psychic downloads I've had. And we will get into the energy read for the Twin Flame Collective. I've got several decks of cards here, so it looks like it might be an interesting one. Hello, Death Card. How are you, love? How have you been doing? Did you notice what I named the video? AAA. And there is a reason. Yeah, I need to give it a good wash, but I've been very busy. I've been unwell. I had the infusion, and then from there, then I got a fever, then I went to hospital, and my daughter was sick, so I'm fiercely, those of you who are waiting on your video reading, it should be completed today. But multitasking between, okay, I've had the psychic downloads for 3 days. I'm trying to multitask. The videos will be done. Hello, Victoria. I didn't know. I read a post on Facebook the other day. I was like, well, that's a new one. That in Melbourne, it's illegal to be to offer psychic services. I was like, you bloody learn something every day. There you go. Yeah, it's strange. But look, it's not like you can go to the doctor and say, look, I understand what's going on. I'm having a spiritual upgrade, you know, so I'm having ascension symptoms. They'd be like, what the devil are you on about, woman? But that's usually what happens, you know, when you are going through an aspect of your spiritual awakening. Wollongong. Cool. Good old Australia. You got to love it. Yeah, so when you are having ascension symptoms, you will find, especially when your gift is changing, when you're purging and you're releasing, you'll find that your energetic level will get very tired and you'll either get unwell or you will get struck down to a point where you've got to stop, especially when we're in that egoic state where we're saying, no, I've got too much to do. It's like, yeah, well, you know what? You and your thoughts have two different things going on here. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so do we have any in the house that have had communication with their twin? Because I will be addressing you guys as well today, because there is cross wires that are going on between your twins and yourself. Yes. And with the connections, some of you may start struggling. You're going to have to be quite patient with it, but it's because you're readjusting to your new frequency. For those of you who are having communication with your twin, you've had communication, Darcy. Now, a lot of you that are in communication with your twins, you're going to be struggling because you're still going back over old ground. That's part of the problem. All I get is songs and poems and songs and poems. Oh, well, a lot of what I've been seeing has been the direct name, first name, surname, number synchronicities. 144 is really smashing me at the moment. It's really irritating me. So as Sula says, I'm going to get a restraining order against numbers. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. It can be... Yeah, it's everywhere. On songs, artists' names that have their surname, and it's like, I mean, I'm not looking. I'm doing my own life, and when it happens, it's quite interrupting, I would say. Yes. So how many do we have? We have a very quiet morning because everyone's doing Christmas shopping. The one thing I will say is those of you who are directly communicating with your twin, this will be coming up for those of you as well who are coming into that communication aspect. You're going to have to keep pretty grounded, but it's really going to dictate where you are in your journey. Because for you to spiritually come to a place where you're open to communication is positive. But at the same time, if you're going to go back over old ground, which is the egoic state, yes, there are times when you do need to have conversations. That's obvious. But there's also a mindset where you're going to get triggered and you're going to go, oh, we're going back there again. It's really not healthy to be going back into the twin flame communication side, having that fretful kind of mindset. Somebody said to me the other day, and I do listen to YouTubers, you know, that are twin flames, to see and feel their perspective and see where they're going on their journey. And there was one YouTuber that was talking, you know, about what was coming through for her in a download setting. But at the same time, it was almost like you could hear the cry for help where she was saying, you tell me how we can leave this behind. Okay, how do I explain this? You could have, you know, many of you are thinking, okay, shit's gone down with my twin flame. This is a reality. This is the dynamic of your journey and what's transpired so far. Very true. But in being alone, you're being separated, so you've been doing some personal soul reflection. That's why I called the video AAA for twin flames. Because probably since 2016, we've really been doing a lot of soul healing. It's been, and we've got 1 like, and 11 watches. Okay, so since 2016, at a gradual increasing rate, we have very much been doing a lot of personal soul transformation. But we've been trying to bring it back to being together, right? But with two people being split, that's why we see the 1-1. We've got two people individually that have two sides. So there is a positive and a negative when we're seeing the 1-1-1-1. And I will go inside shortly. It's a bit loud out here. With that, when we're separate, what we're doing is we're balancing the yin and the yang. But we're also dropping the old paradigms, especially wave 2. Wave 2 is all to do with, you know, integrating the connections and having split families, merging them and working out how that's going to work. And that's quite common in this modern day and age. However, it's very high. It's a lot higher and more difficult when it comes in the twin flame journey, because we're sort of having, each of us are having this mindset of how it's supposed to look. All right, so that's feminines, masculines. We've got this ideal of what it's supposed to look like. One in their mind looks like this, one in our mind looks like this. The reality is, do we have to know how it's going to look? Now, when you do the work, what you'll find is you'll be separated to do that work in the yin and yang. Feminines have had to do a lot of work in the masculine zone, which has really increased their frequency to a point they can be a man or a woman, which is not fun, I will say. But, you know, you've come to an acceptance state of it. Some of us are still getting quite triggered in that. When it does come to, gee, you know, I didn't want to be a man, but then we're being ball breakers as well. So that, you know, we've got to be aware of that. You don't need to break balls to be safe, okay? Having a brain keeps you safe, but having a heart makes you open and understanding and compassionate. Now, the heart wasn't what harmed you. The ego was what harmed you. When it came to, perhaps in the early stages, trying to navigate through, and even looking at psychology, you'll find that you can have a person that you absolutely are not keen on, and you treat them like any other Joe Blog. You know, you're trying to be polite, but they're really coming on to you, and you're to the point where you're going, look, you know, you're really not my type. You know, I look at you more as a friend. And that person, 9 times out of 10, does become more interested in you because you're not making it easy for them. And it's not to say that, you know, you're making it too easy for your twin, but really it is like needing to go to AAA for divine feminines. Because when we did come into the journey in the early piece, we did give a great deal. And as I've said the whole way through this process this last year, it is very much about understanding we give because we choose to, not because we have to. So it's not on the notion that I gave you this, so therefore you must give me that. It doesn't work that way. Giving is, you know, the robbery isn't that. The robbery is the factor that we had great faith. Hi, Luciana. We had great faith in the connection. So, you know, having it and then having that taken away was more taxing than the actual cash component or the gifts and the commitment that we gave to the connection. So that's really been the ultimate of betrayal in the connection to date. So when you're going back into it, what's happened is masculines and feminines were separated to do the work within their masculine and feminine. But from 2016, very much a lot of us have been doing soul work. So we're all, you know, asking ourselves, why are our connections not working? Because we have been going through this transformation, preparing for the age Aquarius. That's moving all the way through to 2020, maybe even 2022. But more so, we've probably got the next 2 years where we are doing the build work. Now, there is a pocket of twins that will be coming into union probably by anywhere between this date now, moving onwards. Now, you need to keep very grounded, because if you're, and it's not to say you can't have expectations, but the expectations isn't the issue. The lack of expectations at times can be an issue, but expectations in a sense that as soon as you talk to your twin, by caramba, you're going to be back in union and, you know, you're going to live together. It doesn't have to be that way. You know, that is a panicked state. And if you're needing it to all look perfect because you've had, okay, in my journey, it's been 17 years. Shit, it's been 17 years. I expect it to be, you know, bed of roses. Depending on what your journey is, you may want children, you might want marriage. It's all very particular as to, you know, what your journey is. It just doesn't go that way. Now, with a new person, you wouldn't have those expectations. But because you've had history with your twin, you do tend to bring those expectations to the table. You can take the history with you and be aware of that, and that's healthy. But every time you have a reconnection with your twin, you know, you're working out some of the differences. You're working, you know, you should be, if anything, learning more about them each time you go in and understanding. When you do come from a detached point of view, what you can do is look at it and use your senses, right? Get to a point where you're going, okay, you know what you've been through in your point of the journey. And, you know, many times we do have the ego stating the feminines were awoken before the masculines. Now, from a point of view, from those of you who aren't as spiritually inclined with terminology, awokened is coming to a place where you're really changing. You're being more honest about who you are as a person. You're also able to use the word no without feeling like an arsehole. You're creating healthy boundaries, and you have a more identified means of knowing what your worth is. Early on in the piece, because feminines were very giving, very compassionate and understanding, what we were taught from childhood through non-verbal terms, really, it was just things that we learned through the path in our life, was to give. It meant we would receive, and it was the 50-50, right? All those paradigms that we were taught, that we were conditioned to believe that when we did actually meet the mirror, which was our twin, we felt that if we did that, all would be well. But every aspect of that has had to be broken down, and the masculines are really going through this at the moment. So what we need to understand is they have been aware the whole time. The only difference has been is they didn't react. They are more mindful to the point they will sacrifice themselves and do what they need to do. They're able to use the word no, and perhaps no words at all. But when they don't feel comfortable doing something and they see the bigger picture, they will retreat to prevent you from having to go through shit. At the same time, with where they're at, it has been that they have been very awoken. I'm not bad, doll. They've been very awoken, but they just hadn't acknowledged the things that they had on their plate that they needed to tie up in a sense of loose ends. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so with that, what we do need to be mindful of when we're coming back into communication with our twin, you need to look at your soul growth, and each person's soul growth will be very different. If you're coming back into communication and you're feeling all grown and spiritual and ready, then what is the rush, right? If the rush is going to be there in a sense that you need it to be from A to Z, then that's going to be a little bit problematic, because if you can even through your chakras sense that this person is maybe struggling in an aspect, not to guide them, you're not their counselor, you're not their coach, you're not their judge. Hi, Dale. Thank you. But at the same time, if you sense anything, you can listen. You can understand and gauge it. But if you feel on guard that this person perhaps spiritually isn't ready, what you do need to do is maybe step back. You know, and the reason I say don't be intimate is because if this person is physically healing, that's the old paradigm as well. I need to be intimate with you to hold on to you because you may leave. Well, no, we don't need to give each of us anything but understanding, compassion and respect. So if you see this person is still you know, to the point where they're healing, we need to be very gentle with them and understanding. It can become frustrating when you know you've done a lot of work, but then if you're getting triggered, perhaps there's something else that's going on that hasn't been completed, and you really do need to look at yourself. And that's very hard to admit, you know, especially when we have done a lot of work over the last, well, since 2016, I'd say. It can become very frustrating. Now, a lot of people have been asking how to get grounded. Now, when it comes to the twin flame journey, good bloody luck doing that. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because once you do have communication with your twin, it can trigger a series of emotions. Some of you may be to the point where you don't want communication with your twin. Some of you are still in that old paradigm of the hurt and the pain body and all the rest of it. The one thing that you will find is that, you know, somebody said to me the other day, next time I choose, I'm going to choose with my head. Now, if you're deciding to choose with your head, why would you be choosing with your head? You need to ask yourself, is it because maybe financially you lost out? That is not to do with another soulmate energy. If you choose to leave your twin, that's a you problem, right? So this is where the splitting comes. You know how we see the 1-1-1-1, masculine, feminine on your side, masculine, feminine on their side. Now, if you feel spiritually, you need to pick a soulmate. I am Stefan. It was pretty scary. Then what happens is you're saying to yourself, right, no more BS. I'm going to use my head. Now, Tesla, when manifesting, said that you visually need to, in your mind's eye, build a picture of what you want. And then from the heart, alchemize it to a passionate sense. And it can be manifested. The only problem is our ego being interfered with was not similar to Tesla's. Tesla actually didn't interact in relationships. So the purging and the pain body situation didn't necessarily grow due to the fact he didn't like connections. Probably very psychic, I would say. So really, when we are in pain body experience and, you know, we're attempting to manifest, we're using our chakras, you know, the sacral chakra, the heart chakra, and the third eye to alchemize that situation. So when you're tuning into your twin, a lot of times your fair-based frequencies, which is the 4D, which is where demonic energies can actually attach, you're actually manifesting those things. So if you're coming out of connection with your twin and you were in pain and you're saying, you know what, this has been so much BS, and trust me, I know, I've been there, I'm still in it. What you're actually doing if you're saying, I'm going to pick a soulmate energy, I'm going to use my brain, okay, crown chakra, third eye, and choose. I'm not going to choose because my heart gets me in trouble. Your heart actually isn't what gets you in trouble. The heart is what compassionately forgives. The 3D notion of things, of what is hurtful, is the fact that, you know, how can you take it personal if the person can't be honest to you, because that's a them problem. You know, we have to, from the heart chakra, actually have compassion that this person totally should be able to trust us and be open to communicating anything they want, whether it be, and that's very sad. So we should have great sadness about that, and not anger or resentment. We should be in the space where we're looking at this person as a human being and saying, that's really sad that you feel you can't be honest with me, because I am honest with you. Now, when we're in pain body experience and angry due to something that's transpired, we don't have that compassion. But it's at a very temporary level as we're healing, and healing can take time. How long that takes is very different. Now, if you're saying, I'm going to choose another person because this person puts me through hell, you only allow the frequency of what you believe you're entitled to. So how do you spiritually feel by choosing another individual? You're safe from that, because that's a you problem. Okay? Now, you choosing your head over your heart, a soulmate energy. What does happen is twins energy of any lessons, because you're always a twin, and this is what I've really got to find a better way to explain this. When you're a twin, part of your soul path is to evolve, right? You split up, okay? Now, twin has the same shit going on. Both you and twin have the same shit going on. It's poor communication, spiritual blocks due to previous people hurting you, and then add twin to that equation and you want to chuck a hurry curry because it's all too much, right? The reality is, just because your twin goes away, the energy of lessons for you spiritually for the rest of your life will be there. So if you have blockages in any of your chakras in pain body experience, any person who comes into your world will recreate that same experience until you can stop and go into that fair-based frequency of what it created in you and not run from that energy. Because while we're pointing the finger towards our twin, what does happen is we're avoiding the reality of what transpired. So being in that real angry frequency and looking and going, they did this to me, they did that to me, what you're totally avoiding is your pain body experience, right? So that energy is something inside you, very separate to twin. This fly's pissing me off. Bloody Australia. Of what's going on, because you're going to manifest that in another person because it's fair-based frequency. 4D is fair-based frequency. It's also pain body experience. So you're going, fuck this shit. I'm going to go find me a high vibe soulmate. Mate, no. You're going to go find yourself a teacher, because that's what's going to happen. Until you can acknowledge there is shit going on in Donkey Kong, you're going to keep manifesting that, guys, okay? Not having nothing doesn't save you either. Energetically, if you have a lesson to learn, it will come to you. Look, I do wish to be happy in my lifetime. I talked to a twin very candidly yesterday, and it was masculine. And he, don't feel that the masculines don't go through this. We both, and it was very interesting to hear his perspective. It's very frustrating because what happens on the 3D is very ego-based when we're getting triggered. Now, I always say in the twin flame journey, you are so surprised at how much BS you can take. Now, it's almost like a cold case right now. So a lot of us, due to the fact there has been nothing, as in no more relationships, it's definitely not going to save you, because it's a very sad way to exist. Why would you not want to live without risk and trust and being open? What you're actually saying to universe is that you don't trust yourself. Fuck not having relationships. I've had the most horrendous relationships, and yes, for a while we do get to that, and I've had people cheat on me. I've had people that I've loved very dearly have children with other people. I made mistakes early on in my life where I hurt a person and I had to pay the karma, and it really did, change my perspective on relationships. And I think the saddest thing is that we can't be honest to each other. And I think that's very sad. It should be, if you were sick and dying, I can tell you, a person that really loves you would get to a point where they would still be worried, even if they didn't verbalize it, you know? So we really, in order to heal each other and the bigger picture of things, we need to change our attitudes, okay? So why would you ever want to spend your whole lifetime not being cared for? Now, this twin who messaged me, he's having dramas with his twin. Love and light, you know who you are. We talked via Messenger last night. Now, the thing is, with our twin, when we're seeing triggers, we automatically think it's over. I'm being brutally honest too, and I can tell you, I've probably been through exactly the same shit as you. You know, but in time you change, but you need to be open because you are alive in this world. And you do need to come to a place where every day becomes a little bit easier. It's like rehab for feminines. At the moment, this is what it is. This is your rehab for yourself, because we wouldn't stop. We were hoping and seeing and praying and changing, and we were evolving. But what has happened is not correct. It's not right. But at the same time, in unconditional love, our fear-based frequency is abandonment, right? And so we have physically been abandoned. And we are now like in rehab for the love drug. It does hurt, but that's the truth. Love, the hurt reminds you of the person. How are you going to get away from that? It's not going to go away. The hurt needs to be dealt with. You need to do the work in the hurt body, the pain body experience. I have many days where I don't cry. I have other days where I do. I'm becoming more open to connections, but at the same time, that abandonment factor is emotionally exhausting. But the things that we need is, how do I put it? You know, early on in the piece of my life, a lot of my life was very old paradigm. So it was the woman stays at home, you know, raises the kids and all the rest of it. Then there was a stage where I realised very quickly a lot of my dreams I would put on hold because the woman was to stay at home and do the essentials or have a very, very basic job so the man could run his career. Okay, fair enough. But at the same time, women are needing these days, unfortunately, to do a whole lot more. You know, you're needing to look after the kids, run the errands, maintain your friendships. How many of you would have cancelled your friendships to be with your twin? How many of you would have maybe, and because you spiritually felt you needed a break, you didn't call in sick because you were physically exhausted and you went into work sick? Like, there's a lot of things where we need to spiritually change. Now, when it comes to the masculine, cheating is never about you. And yes, I know, it hurts, but at the same time, it's not about you. I mean, especially with the amount of times your twin comes back to you, and each of you, it's going to be very unique. It's not about you. It's a block within them as a human being. So the quicker you can actually jump out of your ego and stop feeling bad about that part, you know, if anything, it will come to a space where you'll sit there and you'll go, actually, I just really miss my twin. Yes, I do believe so. Why would we go through this shit for this long if that wasn't to be? What is going on at the moment is, somebody asked me the other day what union was. And you know how they're always saying, we are in union. Yes, you are in union. If you are still talking about the twin flame journey, if you're still healing in the aspect of the twin flame journey, if you're still angry, you're still in union. Because the union is the work. Union with self is number one. That's when you're coming into proper union at the 3D with that direct person. But you have been in union the whole time. And the reason I'm saying that is because even when they were with the karmic, you still had that spiritual connection and you still waited. Even if they were having children, you were still connected, you were still waiting. So what exactly do you guys think union is? I mean, union is when two people keep trying. And, you know, especially in relationships, we're not the only people that have had these things happen to us. The reality is a lot of us have had, you know, long marriages, and that has happened, where we've had to do work inside it and there's been triggers. So if we're afraid that we're going to be abandoned, why then, when something terrible happens to us, are we abandoning the connection? Just a question. Because then aren't we proving exactly, and I'm not saying ever tolerate any BS. Like, when it comes to cheating, no, you have to walk away. When they are in alignment and they can sort themselves out and realise the reason why they can't be open and honest, then it's open for communication then. But when it does come to the forgiveness, it's not even, how do I put it? It's not really even a point you will come to where you need to have the forgiveness. He has always abandoned it, never ever called, but used to spying, etc. To leaving the karmic, hard to believe. Well, when it comes to the karmic, though, leave them in the energy. But if you're entertaining them and you're being intimate with them while they're in a karmic connection, you're allowing it to remain exactly the same. And you're being like the karmic because you're saying, that's okay, honey, you can stay and do that. No, you actually do need to go through the hard lessons, and you need to say, I respect and understand and love you. I also understand that you're struggling, and this can even be with babies' mamas, but at the end of the day, you need to work that out. Otherwise, you can live without me. Because you don't have to be the third-party energy. If you're choosing it, you're actually undervaluing yourself. And you're believing that they're not adult enough to actually make an adult decision. Yes, they are. They can't have their cake and eat it too. So if you want to eat your cake, you can eat it. But it's not going to be the same as a spiritual connection, because you love them unconditionally. And if they feel they can get better, they can attempt to do that. But when they cut the BS, then they can come back and entertain it. Don't do the running. Don't do the chasing. Why do you think this year for me, I was going to run? But the reality came in, for me to be in union with myself, I need to stop running. What am I running from? I'm not running. I haven't done anything wrong. And it's not to say really anything ever is wrong. It's more from myself spiritually, I feel no need to run. If I have to run, it becomes taxing, right? You know, and it's going to catch up with you at some point. So what's the fucking point of running? If you are challenged by it, even to have a dream of the karmic, you're being challenged. Your challenge is to look at it and have no fear connected to it, because it's an empty connection. That's their decision whether they feel there is energy in it. I mean, I've been in karmic connections and I know the reality of it. The spiritual connection I hold with my twin is very different. It's very, very different. But until he can actually spiritually accept that, you need to understand when you aren't in love with someone and you're sleeping next to them, that's hell too. So allow your twin to sleep in hell. I mean, because if that's where they want to be, that's a spiritual choice. But it is about courage, and it is very hard, because we've all been there before, that when you are with somebody that you're not happy with and you're lying next to them, helping them and feeling sorry for them is not assisting them, guys. You know, you can have compassion towards people, but I mean, this year has been so enlightening to me from an aspect where I, in the early stages of my journey, would put sad songs up all the time on Facebook, and I don't hate that, right? But I think as a society, we tend to be very judgmental. Do you know, deeply, probably the worst hurt of my life has been the twin flame journey, but it's been the biggest love as well, which is pretty hard, because you look at it and you know the potential, and then you're scratching your head, you're going, I mean, if in reality I was to truly believe that my twin had literally, over the course of me knowing him in 17 years, just pissed in my pocket completely, I'd probably go crazy. I'd be in a mental home. But the reality is, you can always tell in a person's eyes. So, our ego takes us back to that of going, oh my God, it meant nothing, blah, blah, blah. No, I scared my twin. I scared my twin. My love for the person and perhaps my vision of where it was going triggered my twin. Plus, he was actually triggering himself because of his spiritual belief in what he could achieve and maybe what the whole dynamic was, because it's very hard merging two families, right? And sometimes it is easier to start in a new path than maybe to deal with the real hard, chewing, gritty bone bits, you know? But that sometimes does need to be addressed. But because things were falling down around us within our twin flame journey, that did become very problematic, but it was something he needed to purge. So in fact, I can't very well be angry at him, although I should be, because some of the things that happened was not fair, but it's a waste of time being in the past, right? So with it, you've got to look at more the 3D of the bigger picture of it. What was going on was childhood related dynamics, guilt connected to the mother of the children, and you know, you can understand it's trying to keep everyone happy and it's very difficult. What can you do? You try to be the best person you can, but then starting any connections on a very messy slate is problematic too. So sometimes you've got to tune in and go, okay, is this, it's like a fixer-upper, right? So you've had years of your own shit that you needed to deal with, plus years between the two of you of crap that you needed to deal with, and they've got their own crap on their side of the fence, and you're trying to mush it together and make a soup. It seems like he's in conflict with himself. Then you need to step back and allow him to kind of work that out. Yeah, it's good. It can be done. It can be done. But, okay, merely what I'm trying to say is, at the moment, I would say that for feminines, we're having an experience of a detoxification of the connection. And a lot of the anger isn't actually about what's transpired. It's about the fact that we're not getting what we want when we want. After the fact of any crap going down. So I'm not denoting any crap that's gone down in any of your journeys. It's more the fact that the time frame, you know, some of you might have wanted apologies. Some of you may have wanted direct communication. Some of you may have wanted guidance as to what path do I go down? Where do I move? Blah, 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 blah. We've all been there. Okay? But at the same time, what can you directly change on your side? And then you can move it forward to your side that you can deal with it in your life. Thank you. Any questions before I start the card reading? Hello. Any questions? Sally hit me with it. These ones are all having a gas bag together. Thank you, Death card. Okay, any questions? No questions. I mean, I can tune off. I do have readings to do, so feel free to ask questions while I'm here. Otherwise, ho, ho, ho. What would you like to know, Sally? Okay. If you're having trouble with your twin, those of you who are in communication, you need to step back. Have a good think about it. Write down some notes and see what you think, in your opinion, they're struggling with. And then have a look whether it's a you problem or whether it's a them problem. And what's a them problem, you need to maybe have a quiet word And you need to say, look, this is the way I'm seeing it. I have understanding and compassion. I'm here if you need me, but I need to step back in order for you to sort this dynamic. You know, because 2's company, 3's a crowd. Now, many times those of you who do have like a twin with the baby's mama, or, you know, the father has got kids and they're sharing custody, that's always going to be there. That's something that you're all going to have to work out. And it needs to be civil and respectful. And you're going to have to be very adult. So purging your shit right now is really healthy. Because if you can't get it to that level where you can actually let them deal with their crap and you deal with your crap, and then you have your connection very separate, it won't work. Little communication. Well, what exactly do you want to hear? All twins are awakened. The ego is what keeps them trapped. It's not the awakening. They're aware of the connection. They've always been aware of the connection. Why the hell do you think that they've been coming back to you? Like, I don't buy into this crap of the masculine isn't awoken. The masculine went really meditating on it over the years. My twin's been awake longer than me. I was in my pain body too much. I was in my Better Roses 4D too much. So we just move into our life purpose. We're always in our life purpose. Everything that comes up to us is our life purpose. You know, everything I researched this year was part of my personal process. But did you allow certain things to happen? Because look, even the cheating aspect, no, I won't say I allowed that. But the one thing I did allow is to believe that this person was ready. When it was not in alignment, there was conflict, and I won't own that. That's not on me. I did the very best I could, but I have forgiveness for that. That's a them problem. They need to work out what's going on there with them, and whether they can actually kick people to the side and acknowledge the connection and fight for it. And if they can't, they'll lose it. What am I supposed to do? He's single and he tells me he has a girlfriend. We'll tell him to enjoy his girlfriend and say goodbye. What did I miss? Okay, so he did shit to you, and now because of this, we are in the process of a divorce. Well, unless I was having a private session with you, I probably couldn't explain it to you. Yeah, no, you should never, well, the crazy thing is, early on in the piece, you know, most connections will death to us part. The forgiveness is so you can exist. I mean, this twin that I was talking to last night said, you know, they were at a point where they didn't want to be here anymore. And like many of us have had emotions like that, and it's quite a dangerous space to get to. So it's incredibly important before you even entertain the aspect of reconnecting with your twin that you get extremely grounded, you know, because it's very sad to think that your whole life's energy is all about this one person. That's really when you're out of alignment with it. But it is a very intoxicating connection. It's a very it's very disheartening. It's very hurtful, especially when you've had a lot of abandonment in your life and you've had a lot of people let you down. And you've definitely seen an aspect of yourself in this human being. And then that happens. It's even more hurtful because you almost looked at them as a god that they could save you, but it's not that you wanted them to save you. It's just you could directly relate to them because of the pain that you went through in your life and they had in their life, and you've got the spiritual connection on top of it, and then they've done the same as what other people have done, which has really humanized them. It's really taken them down to a different level, which has been very painful. But then, you know, a lot of what does come is realizing that marriage is not a piece of paper. Just because you're deciding to divorce, that's not their fault. It takes two to tango. You don't have to divorce. You could go to counselling, and the counselling doesn't have to be with them either. For so long, I always felt that my healing would have to come through them. Well, it hasn't. It hasn't. I wished it did. I mean, if anything, if I had been sitting here waiting for my twin, I should be really, really pissed because it's been over 9 months, no communication. But you have faith in the stories that were told and the communication you had, and you look at the bigger picture and you step back and you do the work, you know, and that's called being an adult. You have to. And it doesn't immunize you from crying. It doesn't stop you from wondering why shit went down. And yes, you do get back into the egoic state and you do get to a point where you go, was this anything? Did it mean anything? Hi, Chris. Were you playing me the whole time? And then it's like, that's not healthy, guys. Don't do that to yourself. You know, there is a moment you can have every day that will provide you with an aspect of happiness. And I mean, I am always in the moment now. This is the one blessing I've got. And somebody said, you know, what am I supposed to learn out of this twin flame? It's not just all lessons, number one, okay? Too much of the way it's described on YouTube is very much, all it is for your spiritual growth. And no, it's still a connection, okay? It's not just for your ascension, your spiritual growth and your awakening. Your awakening was happening well and truly before twin come along. It was destined, okay? So twin can trigger points in that, but it's also not the only reason that happened. Now, the ones of you who will not go into union are those of you who decide that you won't be in the moment, number one. You will not heal, you won't grow, and you won't forgive. No, you won't come into union. So you choose. Who do you want to be? Stop worrying about what your twin's doing, whether they can or can't. When you drop into the ego and you're going, they can't do it. Probably because you're feeling you can't do it anymore. It's got nothing to do with them. If they can do it, that is them. If you're there and you're getting triggered and you're directly communicating and dealing with your twin and it goes great for a day, great for 2 weeks, and then you're triggered again, why? Because you're already running. Because you've felt the nice frequency and you're ready, you're already in your mind 10 years ahead of time. Slow the fuck down. What are you doing? Okay, that's why you're sabotaging it. And I can speak from honesty because I've done that many times. But if they're pissing you off and they're playing games, you got to cut that out and stop getting scared you're going to be abandoned. So the reason why you're being abandoned right now and you're in AAA is because you need to experience that and let that shit go. We are never abandoned, okay? We are never abandoned. Until you can drop the crap of I've been abandoned in victim mode, it's going to keep happening to you. Let's pass this test. Let's pass the AAA test of whatever's coming up in this energy field. You don't want your twin around you during that time, okay? You need to come to a place where it's okay to be alone. We come into this world alone and we go out of this world alone. Until we can drop the ego and the fear factor of, you know, try doing this. Go to the movies by yourself. Go on a holiday by yourself. Go to a restaurant and eat dinner alone. There is nothing wrong with choosing to do things alone. I have travelled the world by myself. I have had cosmetic surgery in Thailand on my own. I have gone to Europe by myself. I know 2 languages. The customs official was trying to rip me off and I had to say to him, well, did you think I couldn't speak Turkish? And I was a bit rude to him, but I won't say what I said. He was trying to charge me $350 for exit fees when he didn't charge the lady previously any money. And I said, what? Because I'm white. Do you think I'm not Turkish? So his face was like, yeah, I told him he could stick his money up his ass. Yeah, I've been to a bar by myself. That's another thing, you know, if you guys are wanting to network, okay, so if you're choosing with your head, right, if this is you and you're going, fuck the twin flame journey, I'm going to find me a high vibe soulmate, and you're not even in high vibe because you're angry, you're hurt, you're feeling abandoned, you're going to attract that same frequency. You're going to attract you, and everything you were to your twin, that is the lesson you will learn. Then, when you do attract a person, there is no guarantee this person's not going to do that to you, because in life we have none of that. So, pick for love, not for guarantee. If you're picking for guarantee, well, you better get a bloody corpse because there's no guarantee. Right? Nothing has a guarantee. Any person can cheat. Any person can leave you. Any person can be in love with you for 2 years and go, I want a divorce. Okay? Why don't you just be in every moment you can be in your life, be? And it's nice to be in the moment. It's actually more spontaneous. I mean, they do say that, you know, marriage can take the kind of luster off the chemistry in a relationship. It doesn't have to. It's a mindset, because you conditioned yourself into being the old granny strapped at the kitchen sink doing dishes. Don't be that person. That's a paradigm. Drop the tags. Drop the twin flame tag. Look at them in the 3D as people. Have the compassion for what they're going through at the moment. Even if they're not contacting you and you're going, oh, this is never going to be. If you spiritually feel it's able, then it is able and it will happen. One thing I have been showing in the last few weeks is those of you who've had a very important conversation in relation to what the path was going to be. There was a conversation. This is what's being shown to me. This is a previous conversation. This isn't a new conversation. Okay? In that sentence, it keeps playing over in your head and it's kind of haunting you. There's a question inside that, okay? I'm being shown that it still stands, okay? So whatever that conversation was, it still stands. It's about you getting in alignment. Now, those of you who are still friggin' triggered, if you can't get your shit together, I'm just going to say it, there's going to be a delay in you guys having a reconnection. Or if you do, it's to go back and repeat things to finalise them to get to that next state. You really do need to finalise those chapters. That's good. But when it comes to the heart and you tune into it, look, I would strongly suggest at least a week. You must tune out of all social media for 1 hour to a whole day to actually hear your thoughts, because a lot of you are not nurturing yourselves. You're not hearing your own thoughts, and a lot of the clarity comes from you, from your truth and not the lies. And allow the emotions to come through and be in the silence, be in the quiet without any interruption, without a person around if you need to, and just be in that frequency. If you can't be your own best friend and be kind to yourself and acknowledge your feelings, a lot of you don't want to admit the fact that you still love your twin. A lot of you almost feel that it's what protects you. So by, you know, how do I put it? Being in the pain body experience, it almost feels dirty to say, after all the shit gone down, you still love your twin. And you need to hear that. You need to literally be truthful to yourself. Stop lying to yourself. You can love someone. You don't have to like what they've done, but you can still love the person. My mother was like, surely you've learnt your lesson, Yildiz. And I was like, whatever. How's it going for you, sister girl? Yeah, I'm like, I understand. I've got a lot of understanding to the journey. And you can love people at different levels. Another thing I've learned. I don't allow any person in my life to tell me what I should believe. I have my own compass. None of my family have any ability to waver me. My connections with my family have become better from the mindset that I'm... You know, when we're in that space where we're purging our friendships and we're purging it, we're not purging it, we're actually running. I'm going to start again. We're running. I don't want to see the cards. That was the request. I'm not going to see the cards till I turn them over. So, you know, with the family, if we have an issue with family, for instance, if you do need to get away and keep away from them for a while and you're purging the crap in the connection, that's fine. But at some point you need to go back and address it. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's part of your power, right? So when you're coming to a place where you're going, oh, you know, we just don't see eye to eye, we don't work together, if you can at some point go back and create healthy boundaries, it's very important, because a lot of it can be on your side as well, where it can be changed. And that was one thing that I noticed. I can't change who people are. But what I can change is the way I react towards people. Right? So if that means I need to come to a place where I see people like very limited, then I do such. If it means we get off the conversation of politics, religion and love, well, we do that. If it means somebody has offended me in the way they've spoken, well, I address it right away, but I do it in a very respectful, compassionate manner. And I say, look, you know, something was said the other day, and, you know, and I have these conversations even with my close friends in America that I know on Skype and YouTube, and we're very open and honest with each other, and we've gone through some things this year, and we're very open and honest with each other, and it's very important to have that. But if we can't learn to use our throat chakra, we can't directly turn around and say masculine's got an issue with throat chakra, because, you know, yes, actions speak louder than words, right? But at the same time, when it does come to our words, maybe we were saying a little bit too much, which was triggering masculine and getting them to a point where they weren't wanting to open up. You know what I mean? So we need to be mindful of that. You are actually the tool. Yeah, you always are, doll. I'm sorry to hear that. It's very hard. I have a friend that had her twin go many years ago, but then you end up being guides to other people. But I do feel that the key to those of you who are communicating with your twin right now, try not to go back to a point where you're connecting the dots to it was yesterday. You can't do that. You may wish to very gradually and appropriately discuss perhaps dynamics of what happened in your journey together if you're in communication, but you need to be very slow in the way you approach it. You know, you will come in with guarded heart, and that's the way it goes. But if you're gradually, both of you, respectfully taking aspects of the wall down gradually, then you can work on it. But if you're coming into it and you're like, right, two bloody walls hitting each other and you're going to be going like this, like you're mad, well, no, it's not going to work, because you haven't done the work, because you haven't come to a place where you felt peace. You're still angry. And know, while that frequency's there, it's going to make it very problematic for you guys to resolve the issues. And part of the issues have never been the things that have happened. It's unfortunate they've happened, but a lot of it was to do with part of your spiritual tests that you were to learn through this lifetime. And the rest of it, like, you haven't completely met your twin yet. And the reason I'm saying that is because while both parties have had their walls up, we're referring straight back to what happened during the journey over what the process was and the reasons why those things happened. Those are the key to it. Those are where you're going to find your closure and your peace. It's very hard to let a life go. Now, some of your twins are married, and you're just automatically thinking, hey, because you know the love you have together, that, you know, they should only love you. You can love more than one person, but it's at different levels. And because you know the level you love your twin, you're thinking they should just automatically be able to purge a connection. Purging the connection is still painful. Even if you've, and ask anyone, even if you are the one who is leaving, it is still painful. Now, there are some connections when you leave, it's like you literally revert back to a feeling like you never knew them before. With your twin, you find you can't. Some of you also are feeling as though the connection with your twin, you don't feel it at the moment. And that is because you are in separation, as well as you're in your pain body experience. And a lot of the masculines at the moment are doing a lot of soul work going on in their life. But with that soul work comes, what would you call it? Healing. And it's almost like you guys are expecting the healing to be in 2.5 seconds. Some of the healing can only be done within connections, be it with a karmic, a soulmate, or with your twin. But a portion of the journey can only be done alone. And really, to think that you're going to be safe from pain if you stay single forever, well, that's not going to work either, because you'll be lonely and that's painful too. And then you're living constantly in the memory of the pain. You're living in a pain body experience constantly. Otherwise, you'd be very happy to take a connection and enjoy the smiles and enjoy the glimmer of hope you feel when you meet someone who stirs an emotion in you. True? I mean, don't you remember those butterflies, guys? Oh. The time when you get... Oh, that fell both ways. The time when you get butterflies and you feel you've won lotto. Where do I put it? Messy counter. Didn't really think this one through, did I? Yeah, there is heart chakra work going on at the moment. What am I seeing? I'm seeing a lot of the Fool card coming through, which is a leap of faith. I'm seeing 144 a lot. Obviously, I'm seeing the other numbers as well. A lot of animal totems coming through. Also, I have noticed at a very separate level that we may have quite severe, intense transformations in our weather. And you know, you can always look around yourself and see the insects and the animals like breeding. Ours as well, yes, which is very much, you know, our third eye, the awakening, crown chakra, and seeing the dark realms of what's hidden, and becoming nocturnal. A lot of us waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Ascension symptoms can be you're very run down all of a sudden. For me, I had obviously low iron that come out of nowhere. Which when I think about it, it would have been there for a long time, but it really hit a plateau of almost hitting 0, which then would have been eating my bone marrow. Then my daughter was sick. Then I was sick, very separately to, you know, the actual iron infusion. And then from there, yeah, the knee pain as well, which is aches and pains. But when you're run down, it's asking you to stop. 3 is a time when you are given time and being put in the naughty corner to think, because you guys aren't giving yourself meditation time. It's also a time frame of when you're going through ascension, as well as the meditation is required. So universe is trying to get you, I'm seeing the infinity sign a lot. You're needing to meditate. So those of you who aren't meditating, if you don't know how to do it, just have some quiet time, very separate. Try and allocate some quiet time that you can sit there and you can just sit in peace and hear no thoughts, no conversations. When you're repeating yourself over and over again, ask yourself why you're repeating yourself like a broken record, because it's something you need to hear within your speech. Get it down on paper and read it. If you're having a time when you're feeling you're needing to talk, write it down. Keep it in a book. By the end of that week, go back and read it and see a pattern coming through in what you're saying. And that's going to help you understand what your thoughts are. And that's what you're manifesting. The quicker you can release any of the pain in the pain body experience, the easier it's going to be for you to move forward in your life. A lot of you at a financial level are struggling. A lot of you are coming to a place where you're still left or right. Am I going to make a move when it comes to my financial sphere, my movement, home? What is it going to look like? Some of you are really anxious and wanting 2019 to come. Many of you aren't feeling the vibe of Christmas, and I'll just be frank, it's like you really couldn't be here nor there, but some of you might be in the higher frequency of wanting to have that break, but the fatigue has been very large. Okay, they've got an extra one. Interesting. Oh no, you too. Can't make that up. I have noticed with the videos that I've been doing for the new channel, Twin Flame Alchemist to Union, I have started in the, what do you call it, the communication section on my channel. I do have a picture of the channel, and I've also got the link there. So if you're wanting to join the Twin Flame channel, I will be releasing the January videos as soon as they're finished. I've got about 20 videos left to do because I'm doing monthly and mid-monthly with live sessions over there. So if you are a twin flame, jump onto that link right away. I'll try and remember to put it under this video and join that so that you can get yours by zodiac sign, and then the live sessions, obviously I give away monthly a free reading for Skype, which I've got a T Andrews up. Okay, feminines, let's have a look at what's coming through for you guys. In your mindset, you're feeling whatever they're dealing with and whatever they're doing, it's won. It's physically won them over. You've lost. You're the loser. You need to change your mindset connected to that, okay? Because it's an energy of what you're physically feeling, but it is helping you release the ego. It is like we are in AAA of codependency for the loving connection of our divine masculine, okay? You need to let it go. You know, even when it comes to other people, you may have had people coming towards you, and then all of a sudden they may disappear. This is because you're not meant to go anywhere. Welcome on board, newbie subscribers. Now, when it comes to your feelings of this happening, it's all in your head. But it's there for a reason. It's helping you actually purge. It's helping you purge your belief systems. Some of you want this to come to a new kind of phase. Some of you want to birth this into creation with your twin, but your 4D state is interfering with that as you're moving in. Okay, you feel that a lot of karma has not been resolved. That, again, is a belief system over a reality. When it comes to you, no, perhaps karma hasn't been resolved. And that can be an indication that things are turning around as well. But drop the need for them to fix it, just temporarily, to help you get grounded. Because there is an energy where you feel a lot of what happened to you was very cruel. And yes, in fact, it has been. But at the same time, as you change your frequency, a lot is going to move into alignment with you. And the reasons we've both been very much removed is to help us really drop that codependent pattern. You're also feeling that there are a lot of delays. That you're always hearing in the readings that there's delays. And this is really triggering you guys. And I know if I hear it another time, I'll go, I've heard this shit before. Tell me something I don't know. It's literally, that's literally where you're at. Confusion, lack of clarity brings back your fears, but you've got to go back to those fears, Sally, and say, okay, what is this bringing up in me? You know, what exactly is this bringing up in me? You've really got to change your thinking pattern towards yourself. And this is a lot of energy coming through for feminines, that you're needing to deal with how this makes you feel as soon as possible. Ascension symptoms, rest, recuperation, feeling stabbed in the back. Love triangle in relation to any third-party energies. You're up in your head about it. You're like, is this shit going to change? By actually coming to a place that you're looking at yourself and knowing that you're the best shag that they ever had, that you're the best mate they ever had, that you're the best at everything, okay? And not worry about that anymore. Be in the best vibration. You can't attract a soulmate energy if you don't believe that about yourself. Doesn't matter. Spiritual connection is an intimate connection. So getting into that and realizing it, you're dropping down into the lower frequency of your belief system about yourself. You're actually punishing yourself, and that's something that was perhaps from childhood. You know, you're also reflecting back to any arguments you had, you know. So you're too much in the past right now. That, number one, is problematic. Now, let's see what's going on with the twin. Just look at yourself at all times to be open to either. And I'm not saying you can't choose a soulmate. You can, but you must. What I am trying to tell you is being a twin means you need to be self-aware, do the work, understand that if you have blocks, you're going to take them into any connection. You're not going to be immune from that. Yes, it's bloody hard with your twin. Twin has work. Now, twin, those of you who are not in no communication with your twin, they are thinking about the future. They are thinking about employment. They're knowing what they need to do and the work they need to do in order to fix that. on your side. The feelings that you're being shafted. They also know they need to do some things, but it's an 8. Hasn't reached the 10 yet. But it's an 8, so it's not far away. Some of you, like I said, January, February. Some of you, mid-December. I'd say 15th onwards. Some of you are already in communication with your twin. But gauge how you're dealing with them. If you're trying to get it back to the bed of roses where it was and they're still doing work on yourself, you're wasting your time. Let them do the work on themselves. You do you. Because if they're doing work on themselves, that's clearly saying you need to do some work. Keep focusing on you. You need to have your own life. If you can't have your own life and you don't adhere to your friendship groups, your soul tribe, yourself, you are your soul tribe, doing the work on yourself and being happy, you know, gaining money, getting jobs, getting grounded, feeling at home, creating an oasis, feeling like you're a goddess or a god, then when they do come into your life and they're dealing with BS on their own side, that's going to trigger you more because you're putting all of your hopes and dreams into them like they're the island. They're not the island. You're both the island. Now, for them, whatever they're dealing with, let them deal with it. You can still communicate, but then as it's getting tough, you can go, look, I've got to go. I've got this and that to do. I understand. And it's not you're running away and you're shirking it. It's just you have your own world. Because that's what you need to anchor yourself in, because they have not been anchored. They're doing the work to anchor themselves in their life. They're trying to work out their employment, their finances. They're tying up loose ends. There are changes of plans, okay? It's changing very quickly. Any hurried energy you're feeling is because we all are being asked to get our shit together. You're running out of time. I mean, I don't do these readings for nothing. When I said that, I looked up, it's 1111. You need to get ready. What are you doing, though? What you're doing on your side is going to indicate the energy of what's coming towards you. If you're throwing things out, something's coming in. If you're bringing things in, you're preparing for something. Pay attention to what's going on around you. It's always going to tell you what's happening. They're trying to get grounded. They understand you're independent. They're respectful of that, but you need to understand they're like this too. They're trying to have a comprehension and understanding of themselves. They're optimistic about things, but at the same time, they're trying to get their life together. There is movement in a very big way. It is coming in. Okay? And it is going to be a change for the better. So, if in theory you knew 100%, which we listen to these readings, and the funny thing is, you'll go through a reading and you'll hear it and you'll go, yeah, I've heard it before, I want to hear something new. And then you hear something wonderful and then you go, I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, guys, be careful as you're manifesting, because you need 1 hour a day, if you can, to meditate, to hear your higher truth, because your third eye is activated. Your internal knowing and your meditation of what your thoughts are coming into your head are going to tell you the truth of the matter. But you need to listen to them. These readings assist you. Go away, detox, clear your chakras, sit there, do some breathing exercises very peacefully and feel the frequency. You will know the difference between the frequency and fair base. And if you're feeling fair base, you'll know it's fair base because you go, they're never going to come back. They stabbed me in the back. They didn't even clean the bloody mess up. There are delays all the time. I'm always hearing this BS. You know, recuperation, which is what I went through the other day. And I can tell you, I was sitting there going, I ain't got no one. I was like, my daughter's father, you need to come and pick your kid up because I'm so sick. I can't even look after her or myself right now. I'm fucked. And you're in that moment and you're thinking, who's there for me? I got no one. It's all good to be a divine feminine. But hey, when shit goes down, the reality is shit goes down and we're not okay. Hi, Libra. And this third party energy. If you know it's there and you're dealing with the pain, deal with the pain. But at the same time, the third party doesn't have to be a person. It can be the conflicts with family. It can be work-related dynamics. It can be egoic state. It can be a third party. It could be a karmic. It could be several karmics. It could be addictions. That's why I'm saying get to know your twin, because your twin and their style, they could have addictions. Your ascension symptoms are going to be fucking horrendous, because you're going to be going through it as they're purging, you're feeling it, and that'll be for the rest of your life. Feminines, forgiveness, number one. You're feeling that you need the forgiveness outside of yourself when you're having the power yourself. Letting go, healing, growth, compassion. Heart chakra. What's theirs? Okay, this is how dual you are. Heart chakra. If you want to turn this around, internally do that work. Second rainbow I've seen in a few hours. Yes, there is gold at the end of the rainbow. I saw one on Facebook and it was a full circle. It was like, that's got to be a message. A rainbow full circle. It looked like a globe. Heart chakra, right? Come from the heart. This is even, detoxifying is even from heart chakra. Yeah, following suit here, finances. This can be your internal abundance as well, which again is connected to heart chakra. Your beliefs and what your worth is, right? Base chakra, heart chakra, self-worth, all of your chakras, if they're balanced, how do you open up again? How about you be nice to yourself and you go, I'm going to take this every little step it takes. That's how you do. Stop having an expectation towards yourself that if you've been ripped off, you know, spiritually raped or any of that, you're going to jump back in the hot pot. Deal with it when it comes. Just take every day as it comes. Find something to make you feel good every day. Your finances at the moment is where most of you are focusing your energy on. But, you know, if you've got to work too hard for it, you're still doing the same thing. You're still coming to a place where you're believing that you have, in order to manifest, we can actually clear that energy, right? So from a manifestation point of view, and I've started mentioning manifestation in the videos I'm doing. Okay, so you can have a bill, for instance, and you're looking at that and you go, shit, that's waiting for me, right? That's a reality. It's a 3D. It's set in stone and it's due. When you're manifesting and you're getting triggered, when you're afraid of that, that's 4D, right? In the 4D, your fear-based frequencies interfere. When you do that, you're making that bill larger, the problem bigger, creating blocks in order to pay that bill. It could be 4 weeks before that bill's due. If you release it and go, it's going to be fine, you will be super surprised that things will come at left field in a sense of tools, extra energy, extra resources, can even be wins in lotto, can even be people who owe you money back coming to you. A solution will come, but when you're in fear-based frequency and you're going, shit, you're actually blocking that process from happening. So you must get to a place where you can go, okay, I know it's coming. I'm going to keep doing everything at the 3D I can, be that applying for jobs, regardless of the time of year, and keep going. What does it mean when TF comes around? He messages me after a month and then disappears for 14 days. Now hasn't responded back. Don't respond back to him. They're adjusting at the moment. So a lot of them are just doing that. They're used to feeling that you don't believe in them, right? And the ones of you who aren't hearing is they understand what they need to do and they know the bigger picture of the connection. Those of you who are getting connection and then they're disappearing, it's because they're still at that lower frequency of going, I'm changing, but I'm not getting there quick enough. I've got to touch base with you just to make sure you're still alive. Right, I need to go do my work. Okay, and you need to accept that. It will stop, but while they're going through that, that's the way it's going to be. Yeah. So if you need to step back while they're doing that, then do that. But don't freak. It's quite natural. presence, there is love coming, okay? Some of you actually may be getting additional love offers. Some of you are stuck in between a rock and a hard place of several roads, if not 2 roads. Now you have direct clarity. This is where you're going to feel by the end of the year moving forward, okay? Try and keep grounded. If you can step into this energy and deal with the 3D, okay, let me tune into what's coming through. Let go and trust it's going to return. Deal with your finances. Know that you're abundant inside. At the same time, coming into duality, once you start seeing synchronicities around you, especially bees, it can be on YouTube or Facebook, it doesn't have to be in 3D form. Your solar plexus is where you're going to be able to manifest this loving connection from, because you've got love. But you need to get grounded. So the reason I'm probably seeing that you need to take some time, 1 hour, do some work on yourself, 1 hour, is because the manifestation does come from your chakras, right? For love. You've got 2 love cards. You want it? You're going to have an option. For some of you, it could be 2 people. Masculine. Possessions, okay? At the moment, it may be they're out of a karmic connection. Hey, Giggle. Giggle's been up to no good. I bloody know you, woman. No, it's nothing like that, Yildiz. Yeah. Heart chakra. In reverse. It may be they've left a karmic situation. Possessions in reverse. Loss of assets. Trying to get guidance and support. Trying to get grounded and work out what way they're going to go about dealing with this shit. Connections in reverse. Loss of family and loved ones and friends. Responsibilities. Unable to do that due to this shit going down. Okay? Their life is upside down in the tower. They're in it. They're neck deep. And if they haven't, this is what's coming. Dreams of abundance. They're not even thinking about cash. They're talking about cash. It can be that trying to directly connect contacts with perhaps gaining employment, which is interesting because their first card was in relation to that. Getting rid of things, lowering it down, starting fresh. I'm hearing clean slate. Okay, now, whatever you invested in feminines, be it from a financial point of view or a spiritual point of view, you need to release the resentment because it's going to block your cash component. It's also going to block love. Block out distractions. Beginning of the reading, I was saying 1 hour meditation daily if you can. And that's just, look, we can find an hour. You could be cleaning the house in silence. Go for a walk in silence. Put your headset on. Don't even turn the music on. Just have silence. You're going to get some downloads that are very separate to the YouTube community, that are very separate to any person's opinion. You need to hear what you're thinking. It's giving you a message. It's giving you a download. Peacefulness. It's repeating itself, guys. Please listen. Be real. Don't lie to yourself. This isn't about them. This is about you. What's going on with you? You're going to take it personal how this comes through. But you will be grateful for it. Okay? And some of the conversations that you do deal with your twin, you may take it personal, but you need to not. You need to just move away and maybe take an hour to think about what was said, absorb it, how it feels, but then look at it from their perspective. Look at it then from an external perspective and then go through the motion of it. They're in the hangman position due to the fact that crap's gone down for them. They're trying to find forgiveness for themselves. They're not realizing that every person around them is teaching them something. But they haven't let go of you, okay? They want you to forgive them, but they haven't let go. But they are in the thick of it with their life. and not enjoying the process. But what I am saying is please meditate, even if it's 1 hour a week. I'd ask you to do that. I know you guys are going to be super busy. Please pay attention to what is going on around you energetically. If you are throwing things out, you're preparing. If you are feeling anxious and not coping with things and you're trying to get a lot of the errands done, it comes through. Any questions before I leave? Oh, thanks, Heidi. You did. So, meditate this week, feminines. Get some time in to do that. Pay attention to what is going on around you. Even your dreams. So, to be your dreams, it's going to be some things that you're physically doing. Pay attention to your body. It's going to be, you know, it might be you're in a hurry and you're getting everything in order, like you're preparing for some visit. It might be like for the whole community to come visit you. Pay attention to what is happening. I'm trying to prove the theory that I can lose weight by consuming chocolate and Coke. Well, I was on a nice coffee binge for like 6 months and I lost a shitload, but it can't be too good for your arteries, right? I think it was tobacco and iced coffee. First breakup I had with my twin. I can thank him for that habit. But the chocolate, I got a girlfriend who keeps putting chocolates and cakes and food onto Facebook, and I'm like, I just know it's her, and I'm like, look, just stop. Just stop. I know there's hungry people in the world, but I was like, I've just banned junk food in my house till Christmas. It's just not happening. I was that ill with the iron deficiency, I couldn't walk, and I'm like, I love my exercise. It's my Prozacs. Gotta have my exercise. Okay, any questions in relation to your twin while I'm here? I'll give you a free look-in, but you must ask now or forever hold your peace. Don't meditate, just be quiet, you know, in a sense of don't listen to anything. Block out white noise and just do your day. That's all I'm asking you to do. That is being in the moment, right? How is he doing? I'll pick a card for you. That's how he is. Purging. Dealing with any addictions and habits and old ways and purging it. What do you want to know about your birthday? You have friends around you. Spend that time alone without sound around you and ask yourself the question, generally when you want to know if you can. It's not looking positive, but tune into it around the time. If you feel guided to, there's nothing hurting it, but it's not. See, there's a difference between communicating and expecting them to respond. As long as you're just communicating and making a statement, happy birthday. Just send a picture of a cake. But don't expect that just because you've said happy birthday, you're going to have a bed of roses and reunite and kiss and run off to the sunset. I mean, you know what I mean? So if it's from a legitimate, hey, just wanted to send you a happy birthday, yeah, 100%, why not? I mean, if they got a karmic, that might be a bit more complicated. Your twin's a control freak. I think you am, Heidi, but how do I put it? You're not acknowledging the pain enough. There's a bit of pain coming up and you're not acknowledging it at the moment because it's getting tough. You're handling it right, But as for the emotions, some of it you're trying to avoid to keep strong, which is understandable, but that 1 hour a week or 1 hour a day may be very helpful for you to actually feel some of the frequency of who you are. Yeah, always. Telepathically, yes, but not knowing it, acknowledging it so, but more maybe tuning into you at the time, yes. What I missed with Stefan, eh? What did he say? Can't wait next spring. Maybe these energies will chill. Do you know, the download I had in relation to that is, you know, especially when you look at astrology, when it comes to your charts, when you get a chart done, they say that the nodes and the aspects should be looked at, you know, when a person is not as spiritually advanced. Now, what happens in a chart, it'll tell you rough guideline as to what you should be achieving, how you should be tackling certain tasks. And if you've reached that target point and you're achieving those things and you're handling the energies, you're generally, not from a 3D point of view, from an intuitive point of view of feeling and thinking about you at the same time simultaneously. Yes, Danielle. So when it comes to the astrology and all the energies of next year, what you'll find is the more evolved you have become through your purging process, through your self-awareness and your spiritual growth, what you'll find is the energies won't affect you as much. All right? Yeah, that'd be good, Heidi. So, you know, in doing that, what happens is you're aware the energies are coming, so you handle them differently because you are in mindfulness. That's really where you need to get to be able to handle your twin flame journey. So look at yourself as being, you're in the emergency department right now. Moving through into 2019, you're going to be in the recovery ward, but how quick you choose to recover is totally going to be up to you. January is about births, deaths, debt, sex, and contracts. Now, this can come down to any government officials. It can be to do with contracts at a spiritual level or a 3D level. It can be movement of house. We have a partial lunar eclipse and we've got a total lunar eclipse happening. It's going to be I'm not going to any longer say it's going to be a shitty month, but it sounds like it's going to be a shitty month. So you're going to have to keep pretty grounded. Now, I did say come mid-month, there can be 360s where any energies that were in relationships are going to separate. It also can be, yeah, it can also be different where you handle it. So how you handle it will come down to your mindfulness. If you know a planet is moving, you'll understand the matrix and you'll know why, and you'll navigate through it correctly. Some of you may be having financial issues as of January, and I have pre-warned you, so get your shit together, put some money behind you, be prepared, but know that all the tools you have built this year within yourself is nothing that you can't handle. And I think after what we've been through, haven't we learnt to go with the flow? I mean, if anything, you know, the ascension symptoms, the retrogrades, we've been so tired, we've been, you know what, the house looks like shit, fuck it. I mean, if you have to get to that. I mean, I was very optimistic yesterday. I was going to get all of my readings done, 22 videos done, and the whole day ended up being paperwork and cleaning because my daughter had been sick for 3 weeks. Shit happens. You just go with the flow. But yes, next year we have a partial lunar eclipse at the 6th. We have blood moon energy. We have a total lunar eclipse. Mars, the planet of war, is moving. All the way through to Sagittarius. It's moving signs from, I believe, Pisces through to Sagittarius. We have Uranus, which is our planet of thyself, our selfhood, doing a transformation within ourselves. We've got a lot of the planets are actually squaring and trining each other. So it's going to be a lot about what you want for yourself, you know, what you believe about yourself. So yeah, that song keeps coming to mind. So if we've been believing we can do certain things and we are going to go a certain path, we may do a 360 and end up doing something totally different and going, no, I was in my ego and I was in my pain body experience and now I know what I want to do, and you'll move forward. But don't be surprised if some endings and karmic cycles can be tied up around that time too. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. These dreams are bizarre. Yes, I'm very good at dream coding, but I do it differently to the norm. Thank you, lady. How are you, Jen? Let it go. Let go of don't worry about their ego. If anything, you know, the more you evolve, the more you'll get to it and you'll go, well, that's kind of sad. You'll have compassion. You won't be angry about it. You won't be triggered by it. You won't be mad. You'll just understand because you've been there yourself. So what we're actually doing when we're getting angry is we're actually angry at ourselves because we remembered how we were and it repulsed us how we were. And I'm speaking from truth here because I've literally had a huge awakening the last few weeks and I went, damn, was I like that? Shit. And now I can't even be angry with people that are like that because, I'm a Cancer rising and so is my twin. Well, I can't be angry at him. He's funny, but my soulmate's a Cancer too. It's frustrating. They're family orientated, but the thing is, because they're family orientated, they try to make everyone happy. And because they know you're strong, they're like, you can handle it. You know, the others don't know how to handle it, so you can handle it. You're stronger. So, yeah, thanks for that, mate. I don't think they're going to have time to be in their shells at the moment, to be quite honest, guys. I think they're going to be dealing with a lot of 3D things. A lot of them are tying up a lot of loose ends, especially the Cancerians. I feel energies of moving house or tidying house. So it's one or the other, and that's what we're all doing, really. It's either you are literally tying up loose ends with your house or you're energetically meditating on moving next year. And if you're not moving next year, it's already happening. So how's he doing, Jen? Is a bicarumba out of there or more balanced or no? Leos are about to end some karmic cycles. I think they've already started. Good old Cappy. Yeah, well, we've got a lot of Capricorn energy next year. Especially moving into January, I believe. Have to ask Mark about that. Don't know, I'll ask him. Aren't we all having a fucking crisis? I'd love to be a fly on his wall and want to know what he's doing and thinking and feeling and needing. What about what you are thinking, feeling and feeling? What do you need, Sally? Yeah, pretty warm in the back as well. Mine's been going and coming, but I think due to the fact that I had the spiritual upgrade, it was like, yeah, that ain't happening for a few more days. A lot of you will be experiencing dizziness as well, and probably a dead battery very soon from me. You can know if you trust yourself. I trust myself. I even trusted myself when I was with my twin. That's why I'm saying it's pointless getting to a point where you go, I'll never go back into a relationship. Fuck yes, I will. I'm not staying alone forever. I'm not afraid of being alone. I can live alone. But there's nothing wrong with having a hug at night time, someone to share your day with, someone to share some memories with. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I'm open to that, but I'm not going to go seeking it. If it all lines up and everything's great, great. And no, I won't be single forever. So the reality is for my twin is, you know, if he feels that I'd be here forever, no, I wouldn't be. That's the way it goes. And a lot of twins are like, yes, but I can't get this person out of my mind. I know that. I'm not dumb. I've been there. But, you know, we can't continue doing the donut. That's cool if your twin transforms. But if they don't, are you going to wait forever? You can't. You can't. And many times they haven't. So I trust my intuition. look, if a person is going to do wrong by you, it can be a new person or an old person. It's going to happen. But so what you're saying is, while you do have the opportunity, I mean, one memory that kept coming back into mind was a time when, I mean, my twin probably didn't even know I was doing it. And subconsciously, I've only realised I was doing it. And I did at the time. It's when the two of you are sleeping next to each other. And I was looking at him. And I just remember thinking to myself, I'm going to absorb this moment. And the reason being is because I subconsciously knew it was for a very short time. And that's so fucking sad. And I don't want that anymore. But I'm open to the point where I acknowledged it at the time of, I'm going to absorb this moment. This one moment is perfect. And it's not from a better word of he did anything, or it was just being in the moment. And so really we're guided to just be in the moment. So when you do have that, you're grateful for that. And when it comes to my intuition, well, you know, we're dealing with people that have blocks. Of course we know when they're triggered. Of course we know when they're feeling stuck, right? Yeah. Well, I've still got that as my memory. Yeah. It is sad, but do you know what? I also find this week, I felt quite amused this week. I have little jokes in my head, don't stress. Yeah? A lot of the way my twin is, I'm okay with. Like, I've never had an issue with my twin. I have an issue with lies. I have an issue, yes, some of the things Shelley and I talked about. It's not even legal to be on air. Oh. It's because we're such dirty bitches. We have a funny mind. But it's our therapy. Do you know? And I have been saying all week, there are so many stupid people out at the moment. It's like, what is going on? It's been one of those weeks. Like, literally, some of the things people are saying, I'm sort of like scratching my head and I'm going, oh, okay. It's a weird week. And yeah, even technology is playing up again. And I'm thinking, well, Mercury's gone direct, so I don't know what's going on here. Always the lag in this crap. But those of you who are waiting on the videos, I am doing them today. What a dirty mind. You know, Stefan, because you're friends with me on Facebook. But I'm not promiscuous. I'm a one-gal man. I grew up in a family where my mother was very open verbally. And I was like, yes. And I have sisters that have a sense of humour, and we've blamed my mum. We're like, it's my mum's fault. Plus, it's a man's world that we were growing up in. My father was a plasterer, so we would be around the tradies all the time, and it kind of tags, you know. I'm feeling better back. Didn't you tell my brother happy birthday? I got crucified for that. A Merry Christmas, Steva. Being in the moment, yeah. I look totally feminine. Good. I'm working on my femme. Even though I can do too many things that men can, which, you know, I don't want to take a day job or anything. I'd like to give that job up. For the videos, I'm doing the rest of the videos that are booked, but there's only limited spaces at the moment. So if you are wanting a booking, you've probably only got about a week left of bookings remaining. So, and the rest are going to be emergency bookings to get in. I've got 3 I'm doing today, and that's finalising all the videos, and then it'll be, yeah, probably maybe no longer than 4 days, hopefully. These ones took longer because I'd been in hospital and I was sick. Okay, lovely. Yeah, there is a lot of detachment going on at the moment, but that's it. it's not negative, it's healthy. Disillusionment does come back and forward now and then, but I think it's quite nice to be in the moment. And it is a bit of frequency that the masculine had for a long time of maybe having a bit of a surprise. What's wrong with having a surprise? And that, hey, maybe there is a fairy tale after all, who knows? If I'm logged in, just give it 20 minutes. I might be logged into the actual website for editing. I'll turn it off and then you can jump on. Can I contact twin for sex? You make him feel so cheap, man. That's your call. It depends on where your spiritual core self is. I mean, you know, will you suffer abandonment directly after? I know with the spiritual connection, you know, when you're being intimate with them, what if you weren't to see them for another year? Do you know what I mean? I've always advised to be very careful with your sacred vessel, but that's only from a spiritual point of view. Yes, I would share a story on here, but I have too much respect for my twin and myself. I mean, you could literally like role reverse and maybe leave some cash there after you left and go thanks. Because, you know, when they do that to you, they need to understand they're treating you like a piece of meat, and that's not okay. And that's not from their wanting to do that. They're literally actually protecting themselves. But you leave the cash on the bedside and then just leave promptly after. Don't stay the night. I've done that before. Not necessarily the money, but I left. Because I needed my twin to know I was different. And you want to treat me like that, I will treat you like a hooker. Because I'm not a hooker. I can't believe I just said that on YouTube. But I'm just saying. I already did that. Like I said to you, masculines in this lifetime have really hardened my skin. It's supple now, you know, it's calmed down. I've been tamed. But you learn a lot, and especially your twin with the shit. You learn a lot. I know that Nav Man. I run that Nav Man now. So I'm sure he's having an awful good time right now. No one ever rejected you. It's got to be a first for everything. No one's really ever rejected me either. Not in that department anyway. But I would have to ask him to borrow the $50 first. It has the same effect if you just get up and walk. What's the difference? I know. Let's just get off the bed talk, hey? Because you guys are giving me too many wrinkles. I mean, look, none of us have a problem with it. The whole deal is the fact that it's not about sex. It's not about, you directly have a connection with this person. You're trying to get it to a balanced format so you can have the communication correct. If they're coming to you, and look, treat them like a normal 3D person. Unfortunately, you know the reality that they're more than that, but if you keep putting them up on a pedestal and they're not working for it, you're actually not acknowledging your self-worth. Your self-worth is more, so be more. Otherwise, continue the game. If you want to play the game, keep playing the game. I decided to check out of the game. Checkmate, you won. I don't want to play. You want to play, go play with your little toy plays. I'm playing with the big boys now. So you want to come play with the big girls? Come play with the big girls. No more games. Fuck the games. Life's too short for games. I have too many plans for 2019. Yeah. No more games. And look, most of it, I don't think it was an intentional game. It was more, we felt it was game, so we made it a game. Where did the AA come from? The very fact that through the way we are going, we are all in the naughty corner spiritually, learning about our connections and purging the addictions to our twin. And so the AAA come in for how we all divinely were feeling by not being together and having to, and even with your soulmates, you know, how does it feel doing the soul work? We've been doing this since 2016. Some of this may travel through to 2020. So we're still going to be working on ourselves individually all the way through. There is a big transformation coming, but at the same time, the recovery next year is going to be working in the twin flame connection or a soulmate connection. So whatever energies you're putting towards, the AAA is about us detoxifying off the dynamic between the twin flame connection. So some of you might be feeling the disconnect. That's because it's like you're coming off your medication, which is the spiritual connection, and it being not balanced. That energy will come back, but at the same time, it is like, let's just slow down, get grounded, then we can move forward. Yeah, but we all say that, Film Coach, till the MFs turn up in our face, and then we're like, oh, fuck, you're back. Right, there we go. Yeah, that's it. Roadside assistance. Yeah, we are okay giving ourselves that energy, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. I did a card reading earlier, and I've done, yeah, if you go back at the beginning, a little bit back in the video, there's a card reading for feminines and masculines. At the moment, the thing I would say for this week is very much, please pick at least an hour a week where you have no white noise, no YouTube, nothing, just hear yourself, because you're getting a lot of downloads. You need to hear it. And I actually found, even when I was unwell, a lot of the downloads that was coming was due to connections when they were happening. I obviously didn't want to end this year not being able to come on here and say goodbye to you guys, and that, you know, obviously if I do have an update, I will come to you again. But this could be the last one for the year, so I'll just wait and see how it goes. I've got 22 videos to do for the new Twin Flame channel. Again, I will put the actual link for it underneath here after I've uploaded it. Also, at another level, if you're wanting to make a booking, please jump on as soon as possible, because there's only about 1 week left of bookings. So if you're needing one, book it. Otherwise, the only other ones will be emergency bookings, and they're more expensive. So I will be going on break. Yes, it has been an interesting year. I wouldn't say it has been a great year for growth, but I wouldn't say it's been a great year. I mean, because it has been probably, for me personally, one of the hardest years that I've dealt with, especially in the twin flame journey. It's been one of the hardest transformations I've gone through. One of the least codependent, I can say. What a purge of codependency in any shape or form. Yeah, Humpty Dumpty. I'm glad it's been supportive. You guys also don't understand that even working with you guys has helped me become more self-aware as well, which has been really good. It's been very, very interesting. What am I doing for the new year? Well, I have got my cabana happening, which is a gazebo. I'll probably be having a party here. I've changed everything around. So I've got my gazebo. I've got my little outdoor lounge and my pool area. And I've got some shiny disco balls happening as well. So probably martinis, cocktails. Yeah. Socialising, because I've got more of a work-life balance now after these videos are done. I'm a few months ahead on each channel. And yeah, I'm just going to be in the moment, wherever the wind takes me. All of you take very good care of yourself. You've been absolutely amazing. Any of you who are new to the channel, get ready for 2019. Get grounded. If you do need an emergency booking, yes, you just message me via the website. I check it morning and night. But as for the emails, do it more via the website, okay? Because I do tend to answer that more so. Because I'm going to have 2 channels now, and I tune in on the day, be it, you know, you pick a email reading or a Skype reading or a telephone reading. Read the details in there. If you subscribe to the website, when specials come in, I will update you. Again, I'll probably have more schedules when it does come to when I'm going to be live on each channel. But the twin flame updates now are going to be at the new channel. So when I do put the link under here, I highly advise that you go through to there, because you will not get any of the live feeds if you don't. So the sooner you subscribe to that channel, the better. I'll try and open them up a week before January, so you can see the twin flame energies moving forward for January. So jump on and subscribe. Anytime, guys. Okay, love and light. Take care and have a happy Christmas and a very safe New Year. And try and keep grounded. You know, if you do get to a point where you're feeling really triggered, don't end it, okay? Don't get to a point where you do something silly. Reach out to someone, talk to them. You know, try and create that tribe. Try and get to a point where you have that emergency number in your phone if you feel that's a potential. But just remember, it's a temporary energy. Even when you're getting triggered with your twin, it's a temporary energy. It's temporary. The whole world's not over. It's going to be fixed. Just calm down. Love and light.